I know we're gonna get into it, but when you look at this Kansas State matchup, Chico, you talk about teams that are almost mirror images of each other. The yardage that we give up, the yardage that we do, total yardage wise. Of course, ours is skewed more toward passing, and theirs toward running. But when you look at the totalities, whether it's penalties and yardage, what we do on defense, offense, statistically, these two teams have been mirror images of each other so far this season. So it's just a matter of seeing who's going to be able to hit their averages and who's going to be able to keep the other person below theirs.
That's just looking at the teams, and based off how I broke down the UCF game and talked about how their quarterback, they like to run with the quarterback, but he's more of a bigger quarterback, not really a home run hitter type quarterback, I would say. I think this kid, Avery Johnson, can be that home run hitter, so we're going to have
Absolutely.
to find a way to bottle him up. Main thing, I think the key for this defense and for this win is to create turnovers. They're going to be on the road. They turn the ball over at BYU. If we can force those turnovers and create extra possessions for Shedeur Sanders in that offense, that's going to put us in great position to get a win versus a very good Kansas State team that wants to run the football rather than pass it. And that's their MO. That's their thing. They want to run the football. When Dylan is in, they're going to look to try to get the ball in his hands, whether it's screen passes or long handoffs or zone handoffs or whatever. So we got a tough task ahead, but they have a tough task ahead also to face us. So we're looking forward to a good game in Folsom Field, under the lights, 8:15 p.m. kickoff. Do you think this game is going to last all until the wee hours of the night for the people on the East Coast?
Not from an overtime standpoint. I don't think this one will necessarily be an overtime game, but because it is a TV game with a 9:15, Central 10:15 Eastern kickoff, it's going to be one in the morning on the East Coast, baby. And so it's going to be another late night. This is that primetime matchup, and so it's going to be a long night and a long day. The key during that day is, man, keeping the guys engaged, but yet off their feet. I'm sure, just like what's happening right now as we speak, it will happen again later in the week. Have a night practice so that you can get acclimated to having such a later kickoff. But Big Dog, when you talked about opening of the show and how teams are so similar now because of the portal and NIL and things that are coming into play, and then you look at this Kansas State team and how statistically a lot of things are similar. Here's some things, and you touched on them, that negate being similar in production, and they don't require talent. Effort. So which team is going to have the most effort? Who's going to have the fewer penalties? Who's going to have the fewer or most turnovers, depending on which way you measure it? And then just, execution of play. This is going to be an emotional game for some people. You got a former player coming back. You got two teams with a similar record. Conference game after the first bye week. Emotions are going to be riding high, but who can play within control, fewest turnovers, fewest penalties, and keep that effort going from start to finish? And that's who's going to win the game.
Yes, stay disciplined, dog. Stay disciplined throughout this ball game. Stay focused.
This one ain't for all the dogs. This one for the big dogs. This one ain't for all the dogs. This one for the big dogs.